If you've got forward head posture, then simple neck and chest stretches and exercises like TYAs and the Cobra pose are not going to get to the root causes for lasting results. Instead, you've got to address the missing keys that I'm going to outline in this video that will allow you to maintain good posture effortlessly all day long. Coach E from Precision Movement, and this video could be one of the most important videos that you watch here on YouTube. And that's because I'm talking about a subject that is likely affecting you, which is forward head posture. And I'm also going to describe things that you might not already know about it. You know that it doesn't look good and it's probably bad for you. But I'm going to explain exactly what it does to your body and how you can go about fixing it, not only through exercise, but also modifying some of the major lifestyle factors that contribute to it. First, we're going to go through the research. And there's a lot of research that has gone into forward head posture because it's such a problem in today's society. So I'm going to give you a high-level overview. And if you want to go and read the studies yourself, we'll post them all in the description down below. I think there's about 10 studies that I'm going to go through today, but I'm going to go through them really quickly and give you the review. So what does the research say? Well, what happens to the body itself and the muscles when you have forward head posture? Well, the research shows that there's an increase in size in a couple of main muscle groups. The first is SCM, also known as the sternocleidomastoid. And this muscle attaches to the base of your skull here, wraps around to the front, and inserts into your collarbone. And it's responsible mainly for that movement. Now, why is this muscle bigger? Well, it's the chicken or the egg thing. If this muscle is working more than it should, it's going to be stronger because it's like working out all the time. Or if you're in forward head posture, this muscle is going to shorten up and that will make it bigger as well. It's going to be stuck in this shortened position. And when you compress the muscle, it gets thicker, and the research will show that the muscle is thicker when they analyze the size. So the sternocleidomastoid, that muscle is bigger, stronger, and thicker. The second muscle group that has been shown in the research to be bigger and to work more is UT, the upper trapezius. And similar to the sternocleidomastoid, it starts at the base of your skull, but then it goes down and inserts, and it wraps right around on top of the shoulder blade and inserts into the humerus. So these two muscles we know are bigger and stronger. And why is that? Well, these muscles are superficial muscles. And when deep muscles aren't working well, superficial muscles have to work more to pick up the slack. And this happens at every joint in the body, all across. At the hips, you got the psoas that is weaker. So we've got other muscles like the rectus femoris and the tensor fasciae lata pick up the slack. It happens at every joint in the body. It's no different here at the neck. Now, those are the muscles that get bigger and work more. What are the muscles that are weaker, smaller, and aren't doing what they're supposed to do? Well, one muscle group that's been shown in the research includes the deep cervical flexors, DCF, and these are muscles that are deep in this area, right in the front of your neck. So there's a bunch of different muscles there. We don't have to go through the names, but they're known as the deep cervical muscle group, deep cervical flexor muscle group. The second muscle group that I've looked at and seen in the research correlated with forward head posture that is smaller and doesn't work as well is one that might be surprising to you, and that's the serratus anterior muscle. And this muscle is one of the most, if not the most important scapular stabilizer muscles, and it starts right on the shoulder blade, on the front face of the shoulder blade. So this is the front of my body. So it's on the inside of the body, on the front of the shoulder blade, and wraps around the rib cage and inserts into the rib cage here. Critical for shoulder stability, but it's also shown to be weak in those with forward head posture. So our exercise program has to address all of these factors, and the exercises that I'm going to go through with you later do just that. Now, there's one more muscle group that is not shown in the forward head posture research, but let me just grab my spine here for you. That is really critical to this whole thing. And that is the thoracic multifidus. And that is a deep muscle right around the thoracic spine here. So the cervical spine, this is the neck. Thoracic spine is around here, the middle of the spine. And then the lumbar spine is your low back. When you have thoracic kyphosis, look at what happens to your head. So your head's sitting here, this is the front of your head. When your thoracic spine is rounded, look where your head goes. It goes forward. So if you have thoracic kyphosis, that is going to cause or contribute to your forward head. And what do we have to do to address thoracic kyphosis effectively? we need to strengthen the thoracic multifidus. So the exercise program that we're going to go through does that as well. Now, when I was doing my research, I found a whole host of other issues, but I picked these 3 out to be most relevant to you. The first one here, my little emoji, is a headache. Forward head posture has been correlated with all different types of headaches. People who have chronic versus acute or no headaches have worse forward head posture. People who have migraines have worse forward head posture. And people who have tension type headaches, whose sleep is affected, have forward head posture. So if you've got headaches and all you're doing is popping pills, add this exercise routine into your repertoire, and you might find that you don't need those pills so much, if at all, hopefully. The next one here is, I've got the little arrows pointing at the shoulder, is related to the subacromial space. So that's the space between the acromion, which is the bone coming off your shoulder blade, and the bursa. The second little icon I've got here is, we've got the arrows pointing to the shoulder, and that's because this is related to the subacromial space, the space underneath the acromion, which is part of the shoulder blade, which you need good space to be able to lift your arm up without pinching the structures there, like the bursa and the rotator cuff and biceps tendons. So those with forward head posture have a decreased subacromial space, which means that there's a greater chance that every time these people, or you with forward head posture, lift your arm up, you're going to pinch that rotator cuff tendon or the biceps tendon or the bursa, and that can lead to inflammation, pain, and even tearing of those muscles. The third and final piece of research I'll share with you is related to this little icon, and that's breathing. And if you just think about this, it makes perfect sense. You've got forward head posture. What's that doing to your lungs? What's that doing to your breathing? You're not going to be able to breathe as well, as deeply. Your volume goes down, your shortness of breath goes up. So that negatively impacts how we breathe and how we oxygenate our bodies. So there you have a really wide-ranging overview of some of the research that's gone into the effects of forward head posture on the body. Now, why do we have forward head posture in the first place? Well, 2 big reasons. Number one, we've got these. That's my chair. We're sitting too much. And when we sit specifically, we're sitting with a posterior pelvic tilt and a rounded spine, a flexed spine. That's going to result in forward head posture. The more you do that, the faster and the worse your forward head posture will be. Number 2 is that's a cell phone. Pretty good cell phone, I think. We're using our cell phones all the time. And when we use them, this is typically how we use them, when we're sitting or how we're standing. So to address these 2 things, number 1, when you're sitting, you've got to make sure you're sitting in a good posture. And that means, let's say I've got a backrest here. I could stick a little lumbar pillow in my low back, and that's going to keep the natural curve in the lumbar spine and help you to maintain an anterior pelvic tilt here, as opposed to sitting with your tail tucked under, slouched, like so. There's a posterior pelvic tilt and lumbar flexion. We want anterior pelvic tilt and slight lumbar extension. Once you've set up your pelvis and your lumbar spine, everything up above is a lot easier. Just get your shoulders back a little bit, tuck your chin in, pretend like a string is pulling you upright and straight up to the ceiling, and that's an effortless way to maintain good posture. Now, when you're sitting also, sit on the edge of the seat every once in a while. So let's say you're sitting for an hour, maybe for 15 or 20 minutes, get off the backrest, sit on the edge of your seat in the same positioning, and that way you're going to use the muscles that you need to maintain good posture. So you're working those muscles throughout the day. So that's how you sit. Now, when you're using your cell phone, it's really simple. As opposed to rounding your shoulders and keeping your cell phone really low and looking down like this, pick your cell phone up a little bit higher, pull your shoulders back, and instead of jutting your head forward to look down, just tilt your head a little bit. And that's not only going to restore good alignment, it's going to work the muscles a little bit that you need to combat the effects of forward head posture that we talked about earlier. So those are a couple important lifestyle keys. I've got another video on sitting that I'll post up here or down in the description below that you will want to get to and follow those exercises as well, because there we address not only the shoulder stuff, but also around the hips and the pelvis so that you can sit better. And now we're going to go through exercises to get to these muscles and integrate them into a little routine that will help you standing more upright, more effortlessly, so you can maintain good posture all day long. Before we get to the first exercise, you should go ahead and download the ROM Coach app, clicking the link up there or scanning the code here, or we'll put it in the description down below as well. And you can install the app for free and follow this routine inside the app. And when you follow it in the app, it makes scheduling easy. You can get reminders. There's high quality, concise videos for you to follow along with. And it just makes things a lot easier. So go ahead and download ROM Coach if you don't already have it. The first exercise we're doing is active self-myofascial release for the sternocleidomastoid and the upper trapezius muscles. In the research, I showed that these muscles are bigger and stronger and work more than they should. So active self-myofascial release is going to help to relax them. Here's what you do. We'll start off with the sternocleidomastoid. That goes from around the base of the skull behind the ear, right down, wrapping around into the sternum and the clavicle, inserting in these areas. So we want to press our fingers. We can start at the top, at the base of the skull. And you can move your head around and feel when that muscle contracts. And it contracts, this is the left side of my neck here, this is my right hand. It contracts when my chin is down to my right shoulder. So I start in that position, and then I bring my chin up at an angle as I slide my fingers down with pressure right to the collarbone and the sternum. And I repeat that, and you could do at least 3 passes. Keep your shoulders square as you do this, just rotate your head. So my chin is in my right shoulder. No, my chin is up and to the left as I slide my fingers down. Let's do that 3 to 5 times for the SCM muscle. Now we do the upper traps, and to do the upper traps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my shoulder down and bring my left ear to my shoulder and dig in. The muscle upper trap is all in this area. So I'm going to dig in. I'll start at the top, drop my shoulder, and then side bend so my right ear goes to my right shoulder. Keep my shoulder down the whole time. That just makes it a little easier to get through the full length of the upper trap. So we could again do 3 to 5 passes, or maybe a few more because this muscle is a little bit bigger, just working all different areas right down because the muscle inserts into the upper arm bone, the humerus, right down there. So we do that for a bunch of repetitions. That way we're relaxing the sternocleidomastoid and upper trapezius. Repeat it on the other side, and then we move on to activating those deep muscles that are not working like they should. Exercise number 2 is to get the deep cervical flexor muscles activated and stronger. And it is the supine chin tuck. Supine means lying on your back. And when you lie on your back, start off, bring your shoulder blades together a little bit, and that sets you up in a better postural position. You can have your feet flat or legs straight like so, it doesn't matter. And all you're doing is you're rotating your head, not lifting your head forward. We don't want to train the thing that we're trying to fix. So instead, you're thinking of lengthening like a string is pulling you that way, and just bringing your head off the ground by a millimeter. You're tucking your chin, think of looking down towards your belly button, and you hold that for 10 seconds as you breathe normally, and don't talk. Keep your mouth shut and your tongue at the roof of your mouth behind your 2 front teeth. You hold it for 10 seconds, and then relax, and then you do it again. You won't be able to see much, but I'm thinking lengthen, rotate, and just lift very slightly off the ground. Keep everything else relaxed. And you make that double chin like how you don't want to look in pictures. So again, really simple. Think of lengthening the head this way, rotate the eyes down, keep the shoulders back, and make that double chin. You're holding for 10 seconds. Do that for 4 repetitions. That's your first set. Then you rest 30 seconds or so and repeat for 2 sets. Now we're going to work on that thoracic spine, starting with the segmental thoracic mobilization. I've got a roller here. It's about 5 inches high. This I find to be the perfect height for this exercise, but a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller is no big deal. You start off, we're going to work 4 different areas, starting at the bottom of the thoracic spine, which is at about the bottom of your shoulder blades. Keep your hands at your temples here. And what you're doing is you're extending over top. And with this, if you can get to the ground, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. But you're trying to extend over. And then from here, we're going to come back up. And that's 1. And we'll do this 3 times. 2. And then 3. And then we're going to extend over and side bend. Think of bringing my elbow to my hip. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And finally, I like to bring my elbows in and then rotate, keeping extended over. 1, 2, 3. Once I've done that area, I just roll down a little bit so the roller is a little higher, about an inch higher, and I repeat. So 3 reps of the first move, 3 reps of the second move, which is side bend, and then 3 reps of the third move, which is rotation. The whole time I'm doing that, I'm keeping my mouth closed, tongue at the roof of my mouth to make sure my neck is supported by those deep cervical stabilizing muscles there. And the other thing I can do a little bit of is when I'm extended over, keep the abdominals contracted a little bit to keep the rib cage down. Now I find if for this exercise, not a huge deal if you have rib cage flare. A lot of people try to avoid that. But with this exercise, my main focus is getting as much extension through the thoracic spine that I can. So a little bit of rib cage flare is acceptable. So for this technique, you do 4 different areas, work yourself from the bottom up to the top of the thoracic spine, 3 moves and 3 reps of each move. So we've mobilized the thoracic spine and we've done it in a way that starts to wake up some of those deep muscles of the T-spine. Now we're going to work those muscles even further and work them in a way that's going to really stabilize and work the posture and positioning of the joints that we want. And that's the wall lean. So for this exercise, you can start off with your feet about 6 inches away from the wall. Your heels are about 6 inches away. Again, shoulder blades back to set myself up in a good posture and chin tucked so my head is touching. So my shoulders are touching, my head's touching, and my butt and tailbone are touching the wall. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the chin tucked and just look up as I bring my hips away from the wall, and I'm just leaning and holding that position for 10 seconds, breathing naturally. I want to think of lengthening like a string is pulling me up. So I'm getting really long and tall through the spine and keeping my neck, my trap muscles relaxed. When I'm done, just bring the butt to the wall and come off briefly. Now, the farther your feet get away from the wall, the more challenging this technique. So if you found that no problem, you just step another inch or 2 away. Same setup, shoulders back, tailbone, shoulders, and heads touching, chin is tucked, and then hips up. And think of lengthening, keeping the chin tucked, shoulders are back, not overworking the low back muscles. And just holding here for 10 seconds, breathing naturally. Keep the traps relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And after 10 seconds, slowly lower to the wall. And then come off when you're done 4 repetitions. When you're done this, you might find that, oh, I feel like I'm standing up taller and I feel taller. That's a good sign. Keep it up, and when you stick with this routine over time, these effects become more persistent and they last longer. The final exercise in this little routine is to wake up and strengthen the serratus anterior muscle, which I talked about when I went through the research. For this muscle, we've got my favorite serratus exercise, the Slumpy Serratus Activator. You start off in that bad posture, and then what you're going to do is straighten up as you internally rotate the shoulders, so the shoulders turn inwards, the arms turn inwards, and you lift the hands back behind you. Your elbows are straight. Here I'm nice and tall, chin is tucked. I'm lengthening, getting tall through the spine, and I'm lifting my hands back as far as I can while pinching my shoulder blades together and in towards my rib cage. That's key, and that's the movement of scapular posterior tilt. I maintain that tension in through the shoulder blades, all those muscles, the internal rotation, getting tall, and then I maintain that tension as I bring my arms back to neutral, staying tall, and then I relax everything while maintaining good position. And this is just teaching your body what good positioning and posture is, but while being relaxed. Again, start in bad posture, slumped over, shoulders rounded, forward head, and then straighten up, internally rotate, lift the hands up, chin tucked, shoulder blades together and sucked in towards my rib cage. And it's a fight between lifting my arms up, keeping my shoulders down, and pinching the shoulder blades together while sucking them into the rib cage. Breathing naturally, really open the chest up. And after 10 seconds, maintain the tension all through the shoulders, come back to neutral, and then relax everything, maintaining that good neutral positioning and posture. And you repeat that exercise for 4 repetitions. We're doing 2 sets, so you're resting about 30 seconds between sets, and that is the routine for your forward head posture. To recap, we started off with active self-myofascial release for the sternocleidomastoid and upper trapezius, You do about 3 to 5 or 6 or 7 repetitions of each muscle on each side. Then we move to the supine chin tuck, do 2 sets of 4 repetitions, holding each rep for 10 seconds. Next, we did the segmental thoracic mob, do 4 different areas of your spine, performing the 3 different moves and 3 reps of each move. We moved on to the Wally, do 2 sets of 4 reps, holding each rep for about 10 seconds. And we just finished off with the Slumpy Serratus Activator, do 2 sets of 4 reps, holding for 10 seconds. Perform this routine daily for a week, every other day for about 3 weeks, and then you should do it 1 to 2 times a week, probably for the rest of your life, because we're always battling the effects of forward head posture. So there you have a routine and my rationale behind the routine, and I hope it was enlightening for you and it makes a difference for your posture. Like I said, it's best to follow this routine inside ROM Coach, so make sure you click the link down up there or down below to get that for your phone. Now, I've got a couple other videos that are really good for you to watch. One is on the 3 problems of sitting here with some exercises to deal with those 3 problems. Here is a couple of exercises for the deep thoracic multifidus muscle that's so important. And then again, ROM Coach. Make sure you get that. Thanks for watching and joining me. We'll see you next time. Peace.